Hey guys, and welcome to Heart Speak Warriors Forum, where we provide inspiration, motivation, and practical information for your daily routine. Today, we're going to talk about basically how messy life can be, but how quickly you can clean it up. So enjoy the intro, and we'll be right back at it. Cool. So I'm Jennifer Chappelle. I basically started Heart Speak Warriors Forum for the reason of being able to kind of have really easy, comfortable conversations with you guys that maybe you wouldn't find on other channels, because who wants a self-help channel? But that's not really what this is. This is an opportunity for us to dialogue. So here's the deal. I want you guys to start dropping stuff in the comments that you want us to talk about, that you want us to go over and go through. This is a great time for us to go over some of the things that we wouldn't necessarily talk about with a busy schedule and busy life. Lots of different things come up, but with quarantine and self-isolation, a lot of us are just kind of sitting around thinking about the biggest mysteries of life. So here we go. I wanted to talk today with you guys about life being messy. Life is indeed unpredictable, scary, chaotic, overwhelming, frustrating, but it can also be incredibly beautiful, full of wonder, and it's not as bad to clean up as you guys might think. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what kind of mess I'm talking about. As I don't know if you guys can hear them, but as always, the Tribe of Five makes their appearance. For you guys who are here for the first time, we have 5, not 10, but 5 Yorkies that live in our house, and they love to have their voices heard. So they may pop in and out. I don't plan on editing them out, so if you can't handle dogs barking, this is probably not a good station for you. I would love to have you as a subscriber, but they live here too, and so I can't just edit them out of life. So anyways, here we go. So a really good example of life being messy. Let's say you broke up with someone. We're going to talk relationships real quick. So let's say you broke up with your longtime boyfriend or girlfriend, and maybe you guys share a dog, share a kid. Maybe you had moved in together, so you're trying to determine who's going to keep the house, who's going to get the apartment. Maybe he bought you a car, or she is I don't know, the deed holder to the car, but you're the one that uses it. You know, whatever it is, you now find yourself in a situation where you're trying to find that line down the middle where you guys can split stuff and everybody can be happy. Well, not everybody's going to be happy. You can't make everybody happy. There's never going to be a time when every single person that you come across or have interactions with are going to be satisfied with those interactions, and everybody's not going to walk away completely ecstatic about the time that you guys spend together. But here's the deal. You don't have to live in it. You don't have to stay that way. It doesn't have to always be that memory or that moment. Everything is fixable until it's not. So here's the deal. When you're in that type of situation, best thing to do is to look at what's fair. I'm a really fair-minded person, even when it comes down to the dogs. If all of them can't have the same size treat, if one gets one, then everybody gets one, or everybody gets 2. But if I don't have enough for 5, then I don't even bother, because it's not fair. And I know you guys thinking, baby, them dogs don't know. Like, what? Them dogs have no clue whether or not it's one or no. To me, it makes a difference. And for you, that's what you have to do. You have to sit down and think about what's fair, and not necessarily what society says is fair, not what your mom is telling you is fair, not what your brother told you is fair, but what you believe is fair for you and the person that you're in that relationship with. So, you know, let them have the car. Whatever, who cares? If they can't afford to go out and get a new place, but you can't, go get a new place. Who cares if they keep the apartment? Who cares if you walk away from the mortgage, as long as they're going to pay it? The same thing is true with dogs, even kids. You know, I'm not saying walk away from your children, but come on, guys. Sometimes we make so much out of so little. How hard would it be for you guys to say, you know what, if you're gonna stay in the house, let's say you're the husband, you're the boyfriend, the fiance, whatever, and you decide that you're the one that's capable of carrying the mortgage without having to get another job and without having to get money from her. And so you all decide that you're going to keep the house because you're the one that's able to afford it. Well, wouldn't it be better if the kid stayed with you, or the dog stayed with you, or the cat, or whatever, because then you're not changing their environment. Like if the kid stays with you, they don't have to change schools, they don't have to get up earlier, they don't have to, get a new room, they don't have to possibly start sleeping in the room with their other parent, their mom, their dad, whatever, because she's going to stay with her sister or going to stay with her mom for a while. Wouldn't it be better, fair to that kid, if they just stayed in the house? And yes, that means that he's apart from one of his parents, but he's going to be apart from one of his parents anyway, because you can't split a kid in half. He can't spend, one day here, one day there, one day here, one day there. So he's going to be away from you guys, especially if you guys are apart. So just be fair-minded. Look at things logically. Look at how your decisions impact other people. And that's the other part of cleaning stuff up and making sure that life is a little more controlled, not as messy as we tend to make it by getting overly emotional about things. We don't use enough logic. We don't use enough deduction. Like, come on, guys. Look, if you are going to make a decision and your decision has an impact on someone else, think that decision through. Super important. And it's just one small 5-minute session inside of your brain thinking about the ramifications of whatever decision you're gonna make. Example, if you are going to quit your job and you are in a loving, committed relationship, probably a good idea if you didn't blow up on the job, have all your feelings, walk around with a chip on your shoulder, and either get fired or decide one day that you're tired of your boss's bleep bleep bleeps and you quit. Well, okay, if that was my husband, I tell him all the time, I'm like, you know what, forget that job. You don't need that job. Like, leave them alone. They on your nerves. Forget them. Let it go. But we've had that conversation several times, not in an emotional way, not in a I support you if you decide to quit way, but in a very logical, budgeted, can we afford one of us to lose our job? Or can we afford for one of us to get so angry or so offended by something that we walk off of our job? So yes, we can say that to each other. We can be an enabler, but we both have always been very conscientious about that choice, about what it does to our household, what it does for the expenses that we have, what it does for our children, our dogs, our god baby, our like he has another goddaughter. Like, we've always been very careful with those decisions. Yes, you can be emotional, you can hate your job, you can be mad, you can do all of that, but don't randomly make that decision without talking to your better half or your significant other, however you want to look at it. Now, if you single and you riding that life and you still live at home with mom and she ain't charging you nothing to live with her, and you like, you know what, forget this job, I don't need y'all, then fine, walk off your job. Because the only person you're impacting at that point is you. You're impacting your car insurance, your car payment, and your cell phone. And that all has to do with you. And that's totally fine. So, but if you introduce a little bit of rationale, a little bit of logic, and get away from some of those emotional outbursts and those kind of overwhelming moments that we find ourselves in where we make rash and split-second decisions, then life wouldn't be so messy. But it's cool though. Like, life is okay if it's messy. Like, you know what? You don't have to have a showroom house. It can be chaos, which is what you see behind me. It doesn't have to be perfect, clean, like eat off the floor, everything in its place and a place for everything. It doesn't have to be like ready for a photo shoot every single day. Now, is it important for your house to be clean? Sure. But is it important for your house to be a sanctuary for the people who live in it? And it's important for you to be able to come home from the chaos that's outside into a space that feels good, even if it's a little cluttered, even if it's nobody washed the dishes last night and there are dishes in the sink, even if you get in the house and maybe the laundry is still sitting on the sofa from like last week and nobody has folded the towels. You know what? So what? Don't make more of that little bit of time in your life or that little bit of space in your life. I mean, think about that. Think about how much space your house actually occupies in your entire life. You pay for that apartment or that condo or that house basically to have a place to store your things and to sleep, because any other time you're not even there. You're at work, you're running out, you're exercising at the gym, you're out eating at restaurants, you're visiting other people at their houses, you're walking around, just the neighborhood, catching some sunshine, you're running errands, you're at the store, you're here, very rarely are you just kind of sitting around in your house. Now, of course, lately with everything that's going on, our houses have become our places of business. It's become our it has to be our sanctuary, our places of respite, but it's also become our workplaces and everything else. And sometimes that's the case for a person all the time, but somebody who works from home typically has that one space that they work in, and then the rest of the house is their house. So then you spend a bunch of time in your room, in your office, in your house, and then the rest of the house, why are you worried about it? And if you invite people to your house, this is how life gets real messy. Y'all ready? When you invite people to your house, yes, please have a clean house. Don't invite someone there and you got dirty underwear laying in the bathroom floor and you know they're going to go in there to use the bathroom. But if you invite someone to your home, that's your home. Don't worry about what they think. Don't worry about what they're going to say. If they can't handle the fact that you have cats, if they don't like the fact that you have pet snakes, if they're not dog people, but they are coming to your house and they know you have dogs, don't put your dog in the closet just because, they can't handle it or they're scared. Like, they know that you have a dog. So if they don't want to deal with that, then just tell them not to come over. And the other thing is, we get too bogged down with what people think of us. We really do. Like, we worry so much about, oh my God, my face isn't perfect. My skin's not perfect. My hair is not perfect. I didn't do my nails this week. I don't have any lipstick on, any makeup on. So they're going to look at me and they're going to talk crap about the way I look, or they're going to find everything that's wrong, like the fat roll in my neck, or maybe they hate my shirt, or they're going to talk crap about my necklace. Like, whatever it is, we tend to look at ourselves in the absolute worst light in comparison to what we believe is perfect or what we think is the ideal. And when we do that, the problem that we run into is that we tend to downgrade some of our best qualities. Like, somebody may think that you have beautiful eyes, but you may know someone who you think has beautiful eyes, and because your eyes don't look like theirs, well, you've downgraded your feature. That's a really great feature. Like, you have beautiful eyes, you have beautiful skin. We've all been made to be exactly who we are. And yes, you might want to be a better version of you, but be a better version of you for you, because we make a mess of things when we start worrying about how we stack up against someone else, how we're going to look in comparison to someone else, what someone is going to think of us as they sit us next to what they think is the ideal or they think is the perfect. So that goes for your hair. That goes for your skin, that goes for your weight, that goes for the clothes that you wear, the car that you drive, the house that you live in, the jewelry that you wear, the makeup that you wear or don't wear for that matter, even down to the filters that you use on your videos and your pictures, and what you decide to put on social media because you want to put on whatever facade makes you feel good for the people out there. Listen, that's when we start making a real mess of things. Because we're so busy trying to be what we think other people want us to be. We're so busy trying to stack up against society standards. We're so busy trying to focus on what we should do based off of somebody else's idea that we start making mistakes in regards to our true selves, in regards to our essence, to who we are essentially at our core. And that's when you start seeing more of those emotional outbreaks. You start seeing more of those, hey, Tinky, come on now. You start seeing more of those things. Tink, stop. Of those things that people just don't seem to understand why they're coming out of your mouth. I mean, people don't get it. Like, they will try to figure out exactly what it is that's going on with you, and you may not even realize what's going on with you. And the reason is because you've been so busy trying to be something else, be someone else, do something else. You want it so much more than what you had in front of you. Hey, Jack, say hi. Say hi, Jack. You okay? You okay? Okay. So yeah, you wanted something else. You wanted a different picture for your life, but you don't have it. So now you're pissed off at your job. So you're ready to quit, even though you haven't considered what that really looks like. Or you bring home all that frustration from the world. So now your relationship is in question and it's in trouble because your wife or your husband doesn't understand why you're acting like such a jerk all the time, and why you don't seem to understand how your attitude that you bring home from work, from being so dissatisfied with your own choices and the things that you've done in your life, that you haven't even discussed with them. And maybe you had dreams and you didn't even tell them what they were, but you bring all of that frustration home, and now your relationship is in question and you're breaking up and trying to decide who's going to keep the house and who gets the kids. Like, that is how we make a mess of life. That is exactly what happens when we decide that what somebody else thinks of us is more important than what we think of ourselves. And we're so focused on stacking up against what someone else thinks is perfect and what someone else thinks is right, that we don't even bother to determine in our own head what we think is right and what we think is perfect for us. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. I just wanted to come back in and say that to you guys. It's been on my brain for a couple days. I know I've been away for a while. I've actually been trying to think of things that I want to talk to you guys about on a regular basis, instead of just coming in and having conversations about current events and self-isolation and exercise and food. Yes, I do want to talk about those things, but I want us to have meaningful conversations. So like I said, be sure to kind of put stuff down in the comments, stuff you want to talk about, stuff you'd like to see. Maybe I'll take you guys on a tour of the neighborhood one day for lunch, like show you what I see every day at lunch, how I have my desk set up, you know, just some random quarantine activities. And then of course I'll start to add some videos of the dogs playing in the yard and things like that, just as a break away from, I guess, this, like, you don't want to see this all the time. So anyways, I love you guys. I think that you're amazing. I think that you're wonderful. You are the best version of yourself, and a brand new, better, more improved version is coming tomorrow. Thank you for stopping by HeartSpeak. I'm really glad that you guys came by here. I'm grateful every single time you drop by. I'm grateful for every like, every comment, every share, every subscription, and I'm glad that you're part of the HeartSpeak Warriors Forum family. I love you. If no one else tells you today that they love you, I love you. And I think that you're amazing. And I'll see you right back here on HeartSpeak on the next vid.